In 2020, I was upset with where I was career wise and decided I needed to make a change. And the thing is, when you're unhappy with your career, it kind of trickles over into everything else in life because your career is tied to your money and your finances are tied ultimately to your happiness to an extent. But I decided to change that. I decided in October of 2020 that I was going to change my life and I was going to transition careers and become a web developer or just get into programming. I really didn't know where I was going. But on that day, I decided to start this very YouTube channel and start documenting the entire process of me learning how to code, going through the grind, and ultimately trying to get my first job. So I started this channel. Things were difficult, but I shared everything along the way, everything I learned, everything I was doing, and what I was working toward. And within 9 months, the big day came. I got the job. I got an offer to be a front-end web developer, and I was so happy. I was so happy. I felt like for the first time I realized that when you sit down and work at something, you get it, right? You get what you work towards. And things went great for a while until I was laid off about a year and a half later. And funny thing about getting laid off around that time. So this was about 2022. I think it was November 2022-ish, somewhere around there. It was when all of the tech layoffs were happening. It was right before the holidays and I was going on vacation like the next week to Colorado. And it really threw me for a loop. But I decided not to focus on it at that time. I decided to go out to Colorado, do my thing, relax, and just not think about anything. I told myself I was going to get back and just grind and go at it. Well, when I got back, the job market was bleak. It was extremely bleak. Developers were getting laid off everywhere, left and right, and they were all looking for jobs. Salaries for developers were dropping. Everybody was afraid AI is about to come in and take their job. It was rough. And on top of that, I had to deal with the anxiety of trying to make content, trying to make videos, and trying to find a job and, keep food on the table, keep my bills paid. And it all became a lot. It all became a lot. And I felt like there was nothing I could do. I felt like I had to drop something. So in a way, I kind of gave up on everything, right? I stopped trying to force things to happen because I was trying so hard. I was applying to jobs all day, every day. I was trying to build 100 projects. I was trying to make content here. And I was just spinning and burning myself out. What's the saying? Burning the candle on both ends, right? I was trying to do too much and I exhausted myself and I started to hate what I was doing. And so I just stopped. I completely stopped. I stopped making content for the channel. I stopped looking at my community Discord that I, grew from the time I was building the channel and everything. And I had people that were mentors in there, people that were teaching other people, or I guess that's a mentor, right? Helping people learn how to code. I was trying to do my best to motivate and just keep people going when they were going through it. But when I was going through it, I couldn't even do it. I couldn't look at the Discord. And I haven't looked at the Discord. I know some of you guys are kind of upset about that. I haven't looked at the channel really at all. I didn't look at the Discord. I had to focus on something, right? And I decided just to put my energy into just focusing on the next step, just looking one move ahead. I think I was trying to plan out too far, and I reeled it in a bit, toned down what I was doing after binging video games for months, by the way. Like I had unemployment for, I think it was 6 to 9 months or whatever. So I took that as a much needed break to just play video games and chill for a little bit and kind of mentally reset. I was still applying to jobs in the meantime. And, I stopped applying for programming jobs altogether. I stopped applying. I went back to what I did in the military, which was logistics. And I was hoping that once I got into the interview, I could my dogs are barking. I could kind of finagle myself into a tech position, talk about my tech background and be creative and look for ways that I could incorporate my programming skills into solving problems. And that eventually led to me getting a job at a plumbing company. They needed somebody in their warehouse. Like they were old school. Like they had the paper clock in, like timesheets. That's what those are called. I haven't clocked in like ever. That was the first time I ever had to do a timesheet. They gave your paycheck as a check. Like it was super old school. I got my W-2 from them recently, and I've never seen a W-2 like this. Like, it was straight Stone Age, man. And they weren't even tracking their inventory. They just had people going in, contractors going in the morning and taking all their stuff out. So I essentially was brought in to get their warehouse in order, and I made a little spreadsheet for them with some JavaScript. You can put JavaScript in Excel, by the way, if you guys didn't know that. And just to try to help them have a process for, maintaining their inventory and keeping tabs on things. And I was there for a little bit. It didn't pay a lot, but it was enough to keep the bills paid, right? And then after that, I started looking into IT positions because I still wasn't having any luck with programming positions. And I know it's because of me, right? I probably could have gotten into another programming job if I was still putting in the work, but like I said, I was focusing one move ahead, and I just didn't want to put in work for that anymore, just to be honest with you. Like, I was done. I had a sour taste in my mouth of everything. And I was like, okay, I don't want to do anything programming heavy again. So I looked into IT, and I got a job as what do they call it? Like an IT technician. I think that was the official title for a chain of clinics. So it was your basic IT job. You go there, you set up stuff, set up printers, set up the network, install security cameras, put them on the network, help desk tickets, people forgetting passwords. That was the bulk of it, really. And because it was medical IT, there was a lot of weird requests with medical equipment. Like, instead of calling the actual manufacturers and their tech support, they would call IT, and then we would call the manufacturer's tech support or try to troubleshoot it on our own if we could, or figure out some new software. So that was a really weird gig. It paid better than the plumbing company, but that place was not where I needed to be at the time. And I had some friction there. This is the first time in my life that I will ever say that I was in a very hostile work environment, like completely hostile. I hate throwing around the racist word, but man, that was the first time I worked in like a place that you could actually see racism and nepotism, like both hand in hand. I don't want to say what race it was or discourage anyone or anything like that, but I'll just leave it. I saw some crazy stuff there, man, that wouldn't fly like anywhere. And it was crazy. It was crazy. But somehow, randomly, while I was working there one day, I got a message on Linked Recruiter. I had set up Linked Recruiter years ago, or not years ago, I guess months ago, when I was looking for jobs in programming. And I just kind of left it up there and forgot about it, honestly. Like, I didn't even know it was up. And I got a message on ZipRecruiter, and it was from a guy that worked at an AMI company, right? And I had no idea what AMI is. AMI is Advanced Metering Infrastructure. No idea what that was at the time. And so, we set up, I answered back to him. We set up the interview, and things went good. And I ended up getting a job in a field that is not at all anything I expected to get into. So it's still a tech role. It's a tech-based role. I code a few times a month. I don't do a lot of coding, but I do code a few times a month. I work with SQL, and all of the stuff that I learned and did, both in IT, both at the plumbing company, I said both, and also at the, as a web developer. How did I forget that one? That's what this whole channel is. But like, all of those things were needed for this one position that randomly fell out the sky for me. And I find it to be the craziest coincidence ever, right? I would not have been ready for this position at any other time, like in my career. I would not have been a fit for this. And I also didn't even know that this existed. It's literally fell from the sky. And I guess the reason I'm making this video is because I read The Alchemist recently. If you guys haven't read The Alchemist, fantastic book. And it talks about your I'm gonna butcher it. Is it personal destiny? Let me Google this actually before I butcher it. It talks about your personal legend, right? And if you guys haven't read The Alchemist, it's a fantastic read, and it really hits home with this because the main character pretty much had a reoccurring dream that he found treasure in front of the pyramids in Egypt, and he was nowhere near Egypt. He had to cross the river to get there. And he didn't even know if it was real or not. So he goes on his quest, first confirming whether or not he should follow his vision. And then he goes through the whole journey of getting in front of the pyramids. And I'm not going to spoil it for you, But the main takeaway from that was to follow the omens, right? And as long as you follow your heart and are aware of the omens, you'll find your treasure, right? Your personal legend. And I don't know, that just hit home. I was thinking about this. I set this goal out to kind of change where I was career wise. And in my head, when I started, it was to be a programmer, front end developer, web developer, whatever, right? And as I went through my own journey, my ups and downs, somebody stole my gold. If you guys read the book, you'll get that. And somehow, some way, things still worked out. I paid attention. I listened to the omens. When I got messages from people, I replied, I responded. I was interested. I was always open to whatever was coming my way. And I'm thankful for all that. And now with the job that I'm at, it's probably the best job I've ever had, honestly. Not to humble brag, but my insurance is free. I'm making more than I ever had. When I say insurance, I mean like health insurance, vision, dental. It's company owned, very small company. Everybody there is great. It's been around since the 90s, and the job I do is really cool. So I don't know. Like if you would have asked me 5 years ago when I started this channel, where would I end up? I would have told you, yeah, I'd be like a full stack developer somewhere. I would not have said that I'll be working in AMI technologies and combining so many different things that I've learned throughout the years. And it's just a wild ride, man. So I say all that to say, sometimes life's not going to work out the way you plan. And that's okay. And if you guys are wondering what I've been up to lately, I actually started another channel. I guess I didn't start it. I kind of tried. I went back to a channel I started as a kid or as a young man, where I would try to talk about video game stuff. And I made that kind of a channel where I just talk about everything, whatever I'm finding interesting at the time. I don't know what I want to do with this channel. I think I like what it is, and I like what it stands for, and I like the journey it represents. I don't know what kind of content I would make for this channel anymore, because I don't program every day anymore. I like I said, I write some code maybe 3 times a month. Spend most of my time troubleshooting, working with customers and stuff. And yeah, I just don't know the direction of this channel. So if you guys want to follow and keep up with me, I will be making videos on youtube.com/VesperTV. I'll have a link to that below. I'm not expecting much over there. It's just me having fun, making fun videos, a little less serious, a little less heavy than this. And as far as my Discord goes, guys, everybody who was with me from the start of this journey, everybody who rocked with me all the way till now, I'll try to muster up the courage in the Discord, or the courage to go on the Discord, say hey, and just kind of and catch up with everybody. But man, I feel like I was gone for so long. I feel like a part of me feels like I abandoned you, and I feel bad about it. But at the same time, I don't feel bad. You know what I mean? That was what I had to do at the time to get the monkey off my back, if you will. So, if you're upset that I left, that I kind of ghosted, I mean, I apologize, but I don't regret it. I did what I felt that I had to do at the time. I followed the river. I listened to the omens. And it got me to where I am now, and I am just in a much better situation than I was. So take that all as you will. You guys know where to find me, and hopefully I'll see you around. Later.